Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. So let's start again in California because this is not getting better. The situation is actually, it's getting worse by the hour. So we have at least 9 people dead now as the fires spread on both ends of California. And it's now actually the most destructive one in history. And we've been saying this, it seems like every few months there's now a new most destructive wildfire season, individual fires in California. It's just it's horrible and brutal. And honestly, reading the comments with what you guys think, obviously nobody's really been super impressed by basically keeping these things under control, and many people are really up in arms about these things. And as we're going to see, there's some people at the very high end of things that are very upset about these fires and why do they keep happening. And there's a lot of thought on that. You have 250,000 people that have been forced to flee their homes statewide in the Camp Fire in the north. And the 2 other major fires, the Woolsey and the Hill in Southern California, burned this weekend. As firefighters struggle to contain the uncontrolled wildfires, forecasters said intense winds and low humidity could fuel the blazes and make them spread even farther. Evacuees trapped in traffic abandoned their cars and ran with their kids in tow as the Camp Fire quickly closed in on North California's Butte County. Malibu mansions burned to the ground Southern California, while another fast-growing brush fire left employees at Los Angeles Zoo racing to protect animals from the smoke. In Thousand Oaks, a community mourning this week's mass shooting, a recreation center where their survivors grieved was filled with people fleeing the fire. So, latest developments, it's killed at least 9 people. And some were inside cars and didn't make it out. Others were in or near their homes. They haven't been identified. It's burning and growing. The Camp Fire is the largest of the 3 major fires, swelling to 100,000 acres by Saturday morning, according to the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. The Woolsey Fire doubled in size overnight, growing to 70,000 acres. The Hill Fire was at 4,500 acres. And it's a devastating situation, and it's getting worse. And we've been talking about this. So a lot of people, think that DEWS is involved, and this is part of a bigger agenda. So President Trump blames gross mismanagement as wildfires leave trail of death, destruction in California. And you could see through that video that was just popping up there, intense, and as President Trump says, there is no reason for these massive, deadly, and costly forest fires in California except that forest management is so poor. President Trump tweeted that on Saturday morning. Billions of dollars are given each year with so many lives lost, all because of gross mismanagement of the forest. Remedy now or no more Fed payments. It was the first time Trump has spoken publicly about the Camp Blaze, but the president's assertions of mismanagement are a frequent fiery refrain, claims that are regularly disputed. This is coming out of the Washington Post, which is obviously a little bit more liberal paper. And with President Trump, it's not always liberal conservative either, like the traditional lines as far as criticism and things like that go. In August, with the fires growing to historic sizes in California, Trump tweeted that the state is foolishly diverting vast amounts of water from the north, blaming bad environmental laws for the summer's deadly fires. California fire officials shot back at the president's claims, saying that the real cause was climate change. The latest tweet came as residents in Butte County, about 90 miles north of the state capital of Sacramento, my dad's hometown, described fleeing a catastrophic fire that began on Thursday and grew with incredible speed and turned a sunny day into an end-of-days scene of flames, smoke, sparks, and wide destruction. So it's not good at all. And what's your thoughts on who is to blame? Again, I want to hear your guys' comments. And so President Trump is threatening to withhold federal payments. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think it's good that he's laying it out there and saying this is all mismanagement? Do you believe in climate change causing this? No, I don't think many people believe in climate change causing this at all. Honestly, I think that's probably just well, again, it depends on what community you're in, right? Because we're in the truther community here. So you're probably going to find like 0.5% that are going to say, yeah, this is all man-made climate change problems. The blame will be much, much likely put elsewhere in this community. But when we're talking about, those that are perhaps completely asleep at the wheel, so this fire is very dangerous, obviously. Thousands flee paradise in Butte County as we see that smoke. Just crazy. And as people were saying, it's like an end of days scenario. Emergency personnel forced to push cars off the roads, being used for the exodus. The whole lower side of Paradise is totally engulfed in flames. The Pacifica, Princeton area, Neal Road, and Feather River Hospital, all engulfed in flames. Not one home will be left standing. I'm devastated, this person saying. We just bought a home in Upper Magalia right now, and we're hoping our brand new home that we just got to move into tomorrow is not going to be burned to the ground. We're all shaking right now. We grabbed our animals some food and clothes, and we're getting the heck out of here. As we see some photos, there's videos for you guys to play, of course. I'll have all the links for you as well. And so this is ongoing, and as we always say when it comes to the flooding, and it's the same thing here, always err on the side of caution. Always err on the side of caution. And the Westworld location at Paramount Ranch burns down, so those of you that follow Westworld, which is a fairly interesting little series there, caught the first season of it. Err on the side of caution, get out and just get out of there. And as I was saying before, and I've been saying this, since the earlier part of the year when it got obvious that things are permanently changing, and there's going to be some areas where it's just not going to be safe to live. Obviously there's more danger anywhere you go now. The weather's crazy, the winds are intense, the storms are intense anywhere, but there's certain areas that are going to be more dangerous than others. And perhaps there's certain areas where, there are forces that be that don't simply want people there and are trying to get people to get out of the area. As we have talked about, as many of you guys have talked about in the comments. And we have major flash floods hitting the ancient city of Petra, killing at least 12 tourists in Jordan. Heavy rain caused severe flash flooding in Jordan's ancient city of Petra, the kingdom's main tourist attraction, on Friday, killing at least a dozen people, nearly 4,000 people forced to evacuate. Think about the numbers of people around the globe this year, and there's videos for you guys to check out the intense flooding. Think about the numbers of people across the globe that have been forced to just take off, to just scramble for their lives and just, get the bleep out of there. It's staggering. And how many people are not in what was their home now, say at January 1st, because they've had to leave, because their home's been destroyed. Now this is out of Oahu. And I was just floating. Cars trapped in flash flooding in Windward, Oahu. 3 vehicles got trapped near Wakani Bridge due to flash flooding on Friday morning. Brooke Hall said she thought she could make it through the rushing water. She was wrong, so don't even think about risking it again. And maybe if I harp on that every single day, somewhere down the line, somebody's going to remember one of the videos and say, yeah, maybe I shouldn't risk it. And then, it's worth it. Then everything is worth it. Because you guys, things are different nowadays. They're just different. You can't automatically get across somewhere that perhaps you've been able to get across before. Things are different. Thousands lose power as rain and wind bring flooding, and this is the UK, our family over in the UK. And we were talking about this yesterday, the severe storms that were going to be coming through. Milford Haven's one of those areas with the flooding. Pembrokeshire and Carmarthenshire saw the worst of the weather, with some homes in Milford Haven under 3 meters of water, under 10 feet of water. This is just from a rainstorm. 10 feet of water from a rainstorm. Do you guys hear that? 10 feet of water from just a rainstorm. Incredible. But this is what we got. And this is what happens. It's not a good scenario, so we must be taking everything seriously. As you see, 5 houses in Milford Haven that were under 10 feet of water after the lake flooded. So be wary of where you're at. And I'll share, I told you guys that I'm basically renting a place with the intentions of probably buying something, whether it's a piece of land or preferably a piece of land with a shack on it, so that I could build an earth bag home, because that's really what I think is going to be needed in these times. When I'm looking at properties, then you got to think about, am I close to a river? Am I close to a lake? Where is the dam? Is there a dam nearby that could break? Think about all these things, nowadays. Think about all these things. Look for potential hazards, to your situation, whether you're buying a place or not. Just, go and scan the neighborhood with a set of new eyes and think about what could be a hazard. Kuwait's public works minister resigns amid severe flooding. So, he's said, I'm done. I've had enough. Somebody else take over. And you can't blame him and others in that position, because you think about what some of these people in charge are going through. Because often, you might want to be able to do certain things, and you might see what's the right path to take, but you're not allowed to by higher powers or restrictions. And this is part of where we gotta demand that we stop spending money in some areas and start spending it where it's going to end up saving lives later. Strong and shallow 6.2 earthquake hits Tonga. So going back to that last topic, let's tell those idiots spraying our skies, and the ones in charge ordering it, that until they let us know exactly what they're spraying in the skies, we don't want them spraying anything, and let's take that money and divert it to using it in ways that are going to save lives. Now, some will say, well, they're saving lives because they're protecting us from the UV and the cosmic rays. Well, let us know the absolute truth. Give us the whole story, and let us test what's being sprayed before it's sprayed on people. And so we had 6.2 in Tonga, as we can see over here. And we have quite a bit of activity, mostly in the 4s and the 5s. The one that struck me right away was this one. This isn't an unusual spot. This is in Virginia. And it's a 2.5, 9 kilometers east-northeast of Goochland, Virginia. So did anybody feel that one out there? Definitely an unusual one. We still see there's quakes going over in Greece. That hasn't stopped. And many friends and people in the know are still concerned not only about Greece, but really about Italy, as far as the quakes go, potential there. And of course, tons of swarming out west as usual. So we have accidents closing interstates as first heavy episode of lake effect snow affects the Great Lakes. And you know what? It was 26 here this morning. Brr, that's not Florida Lake. And cold air is coming. I saw Tuesday it's going to be like 19 overnight. Cold air is coming. Welcome to winter, man. It is here. So you guys, if you used to getting those lake effect snows, well, here they come. And the wind's been very intense. It is cold out there, and this is a good idea. Seal off the drafts. It's that time of year. Record lows and record cold Saturday morning. If you thought this morning was unusually cold, you would be correct. Record lows were tied or broken in Waterloo, Dubuque, and Cedar Rapids up in Iowa. So very, very cold. It is frigid out there. Again, prepare for if you don't have power, what you're gonna do. I got the wood stove cranking right now. Gonna have to go out and gather some more kindling. And record cold over here in Oklahoma City. Record cold everywhere. We're gonna be getting used to that. So they broke the old record of 21 degrees set back in 1950 this morning. They broke it with 20. So hey, it's a degree. It counts. It's in the books. Kansas City, Friday night temps to plunge to record low levels. And so temperatures in Kansas City, Missouri are going to reach record November 9 lows on Friday night. And as this blast sinks on in, and I guess we got to get used to it because it's probably going to be here to stay. Of course, we're going to have wild swings as well. And we have further frost damage that's done to Argentina's wheat crop. So again, we're seeing all these estimates of how much productivity they're going to have go down, 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 down in multiple areas, not just Argentina. It's been everywhere we've looked. And so the NAO and the AO are both hinting at a cold into November. And don't be surprised if we end up with dual polar vortexes going. And a shift could be underway by the last week to 10 days in November as we're looking for a dip. And brace yourself. Excessive November snowfall to bury Quebec. Quebec's, of course, no means a stranger to November snowfall, but what's about to happen is excessive, even by the province's high and hardy standards. Merging of two systems will bring heavy snow and strong winds to parts of the province this weekend, and several rounds of snow to follow. And of course, all that snow gives you wonderful skiing opportunities. Loveland Ski Area records its snowiest start to the season in 81 years of skiing history. And this is Colorado for everybody over on that side. I'm going to go do some skiing. It should be a good year for that, most definitely. The official Loveland Ski Area Twitter account confirmed the totals, tweeting 81 inches of snow this year. Best start in our 81-year history. Interesting. 81. Now, meanwhile, purple flowers and green grass are blanketing the desert in Saudi Arabia. And we were talking about this on the live show, and the last live show was like one of the best we've ever had. It was so good, such interesting topics. After a seasonally unusual amount of rainfall, purple desert roses blanket the wide expanses of the city of Rafah in Saudi Arabia. These awesome and unexpected pictures were taken by Saudi photographer Abdul Aziz Al Tumia. Enjoy. Aren't those beautiful? It looks like that camel's enjoying. He's got a big old smile on his face, doesn't he? It's like, these things are tasty. And so this is one of the things we're talking about, the desert blooming. And this is one of the upsides, is some areas that haven't been that hospitable, that haven't been that great for growing things, and just, are kind of lifeless. It's going to change. It's going to change. So, that is a positive to take out of these times as we look at one very happy camel. So, my friends, as always, stay safe out there. Please stay safe. Prepare as best you can. Double check everything you're doing. And as always, thumbs up to support the channel. Subscribe, join our family. Click the bell so you get all the notifications, and share with as many people as possible so we wake them up as well. May you guys always be blessed with abundant peace, love, happiness, health, good health, and well-being. God bless, my friends, and namaste.